Well, hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are here on a Friday evening, which means that it's time to smile. For those of you who don't know, we do three broadcasts in the week. One on Friday lunchtime. These are all Pacific times. We do one Friday noon, which is our learning, our skills broadcast. Then we do this one on a Friday evening at 7 o'clock Pacific time, which is our smile broadcast. And then we do another one on Sunday, which is our Soul Sunday broadcast. And the reason that we do that is because I believe that those three things are the three things that will make you feel a lot happier. Number one, keep on learning. Number two, keep on smiling. And number three, remember to go within and relax and trust the process, taking one step at a time. And that's what we do. Hi there, Jody, and hi to Marie. I I want to tell you that it's been as some of you know, a very challenging week for me. So having a good smile today is a really good idea. And I'm messing with my computer table here because um, in the in between time today, I managed to drop green juice on my computer table. Hi, Isabel. And the it was just like I was watching ice cubes and green juice just go all over my computer table. And for those of you who are regulars, you know that I've got a loaner computer at the moment. And about the last thing I needed was to fry a loaner computer. So I want to tell you, it touched part of the computer, but it missed going into the keys by about this much. So I am very, very grateful indeed. So I hope you've all had a good day. And I spent most of the afternoon trying to mop up the mess that I'd made, both on my computer table and then, you don't know which way to go. Do I stop it from dropping onto the floor, or do I stop it from doing any more damage to the computer? And I must admit that the computer won, but it took a bit of time. So I thought this was good. I've got some nice quotes today, I hope, nice quotes for you, um, which are really just generally funny quotes, and we'll see whether you enjoy them. I hope you do. The first one, it says, it takes real skill to choke on air, fall upstairs, and trip over nothing. I have those skills. How many of you relate to that? It's like other people might not be able to do it, but boy, can I do it. Right? And I thought that was just beautiful because that sort of, somehow or other just seems to, encapsulate who I am. And then I love this one. It said, I finally realized that people are prisoners of their phones, and that's why it's called a cell phone. Now, I've I don't know about you guys, but I have dated people that probably this next one related to. What is the best thing to do when you have a hole in a boat and the water is leaking inside? How many of you know that person who would say, "Well, make another hole so it can drain out"? I've dated those people. Actually, one of the tests that they do to find out whether people are sane or not is to actually tell them, give them a case scenario, which is, there is a wash hand basin and it's flooding, flooding over, and you've got a bucket, a plunger, no, a bucket and a dustpan and brush and a cup. How would you clean up? And the interesting thing is that if you don't start with, well, first I would turn off the tap or the faucet, whatever you call it, wherever you live, you then you've got a bit of a problem. And how many of you going, duh, duh, I didn't think of that. I know when I first heard it, I went, oh, yeah, that would be a good idea. So start by turning off the source of the problem. And, that's a bit a bit like anything in life, right? Don't deal with the result, deal with with the cause of the problem. So, and somebody said, "Your secrets are safe with me." I wasn't even listening. And for any of you who are, have been klutzy enough to actually fall where you weren't meant to, I've done that. Um, and somebody is silly enough to say, "Did you fall?" You go, "No, I was just checking to see if gravity still worked." I just always have this vision, and some of you have heard me tell the story again. Oh, thank goodness. Jody's saying, "I'm laughing because I didn't think about turning off the tap immediately either." Yeah, I remember when I heard it, I went, "Yeah, that would be a good idea. Why didn't I think of that one?" But I literally did have it happen to me once when I was dressed up to the nines and I was wearing heels, this high and looking like $1 million. And I went tumbling down a whole lot of what I call, serious steps, big wide ones outside a law office, not a law office, but what do you call it? Courthouse. And, I was. I just clean missed the first step, and there I went, tumble, 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 and pantyhose ripped and all sorts of things, and I ended up sort of at the bottom of the steps, and all I can remember was my friend or ex-friend, my friend in his Gucci shoes. I knew he was there because I could see the shoes, saying to me, "If you ever embarrass me like that again, so help me, Sal. I won't talk to you again." And then said, "Are you okay?" There were his priorities, right? It was just like, "Don't you ever embarrass me like that again." I'm going, "You thought I did that intentionally?" I'm not that good. Now, some of you know this one really well. Be ready, people. Take a breath and get control. There are 100 billion nerves in the human body, and there are people who have the ability to irritate all of them. I hope I'm not that person. It just depends what day it is, right? It's like, oh yeah, Jody's saying he didn't deserve to have you as a friend. And the nerve. Well, you know something? He actually gave me some of the best advice I ever had in my life. I've got to say that, Jody, and I thank him to this day. I remember that somebody maliciously said something about me way before the days of the internet. And I remember phoning him up and saying, we got to take this guy to court because, um, you know, that's defamation of character that he's doing. He's talking about me and it's not true. And I just remember this guy saying to me, "How much money do you actually have?" I went, "What?" He said, "How much money do you have?" I said, not very much. Why?" And he said, "This would cost you a fortune. There is no guarantee that you will win. The only guarantee is the lawyers on both sides will make money. So here is my advice to you. Let it go." And I just went, "Oh, okay." Yeah, he did have some redeeming qualities, and he turned out to be a very good friend in other ways. And how many of you know that some days this can be your problem? I've had an extremely exhausting day trying to turn oxygen into carbon dioxide. Just breathing was a problem today. Yeah, and some of you have had days like that this week. I have, that's for sure. And I like this one. It said, "It may look like I'm doing nothing, but inside my head, I'm actually quite busy." Now, there've been a couple of people this week who haven't been able to sleep. I was one of them. Um, and the reason is because the noises inside my head were so busy. The hamster wheel was going around, and I think I knew there was a problem with my house sale, but I hadn't heard it yet, if you know what I mean. It hadn't got to me, but at some level, my mind already knew it needed to be thinking, and it was very difficult to get it to stop. Now, this one I thought was cute. "I don't understand people who say, 'I don't know how to thank you.' Have they never heard of money?" How about this one? "Sometimes I just want someone to hug me and say, 'I know it's hard, but you'll be okay. Here's a coffee and $1 million.'" Uh, and for those of you who are still working, I like this one. It said, "Why is Monday so far away from Friday? And why is Friday so close to Monday?" And any of you who have ever suffered from PMS, you will relate to this one. "There are so many times I've made you angry, upset, irritated, and tired. Today, I just wanted to say I'm thinking of continuing." And this was my one for the week, I think, which is, "Dear life, when I said, 'Can this day get any worse?' It was a rhetorical question, not a challenge." Hi, Pat. Good to see you there. "I hope we're good friends and that we stay that way until we die. And then I hope we stay ghost friends so we can walk through walls and scare people." How many of you going, "I bet that's fun"? And how about, "Sleeping is hard in the summer because the blankets are too warm, but without them, I'm vulnerable to monsters." Yeah, yeah. What if somebody what if somebody walks in? When my body was beautiful in different ways, it didn't worry me so much, but these days, oh yeah, that worries me. And for those of you who sing in the shower, singing in the shower is all about fun and games until you get shampoo in your mouth. Then it becomes a soap opera. Oh, really? Laughing is one of the best exercises. It's like running inside your mind. You can do almost anywhere, and it's even better with a friend. Hi there, Nana. How many of you agree? Laughter is great medicine. Winston Churchill said that a good speech should be like a woman's skirt, long enough to cover the subject and short enough to create interest. Churchill for you, right? It's true that we don't know what we've got until we lose it. But it's also true that we don't know what we've been missing until we get it. um, for anybody who's ever had a dog and played catch with the dog, I sometimes wonder whether that dog's going, could you please stop throwing that ball? I keep returning it to you. Can we go home now? And when I had Bean, because he was such a big dog, and he really was, when I went to the dog park with him, I actually took a tennis racket with me because, I could huck a tennis ball a long way with a tennis racket. And that would, and there he would just run the dickens and come back and drop it again. It was like, aren't you tired yet? And then, of course, it was Bean. And some of you who remember Bean will also know that I would send off the tennis ball, and while he was running, he'd see a ball that he liked better. So being Bean, he'd just pick up the ball he liked better, then go and get his ball as well. And with both of them in his mouth, he'd come back and drop them. And then I'd stand there looking for the owner of the second ball. It's just like, I'm sorry about that. And if he really liked it, which some of you know the story, but if he really liked it, like the chuck it balls, he really liked those, he would take it and run for the pond. And he would dive into the pond and go to the middle of the pond and play with the chuck it ball. That blue and orange one. And I learned after a few times, it paid me to have 6 of those in my car. And actually, I used to carry them in a Safeway bag with me, because I knew somewhere along the line he was going to see a chuck it ball and he was going to steal it. And I can remember the one time, he stole it and he ran to the center of the pond to play with it. And I could see the owner sort of having that look on his face, like, what the happened to my ball, And I literally walked over and took out a brand new chuck it ball. And I said, here you go. Here is a new one for you. I am so sorry that my dog took your ball, but he really likes, chuck it balls. And so he's gone to the pond to play with it. And I'd like you to take this new one as a present. Oh, I'll wait. No, don't wait. Why? It normally takes half an hour to 3/4 of an hour before he gets bored. I'm certain you don't want to wait that long. And there's no guarantee that when he gets bored, that he will bring back the chuck it ball in a condition that you would want to have it back again. And how many of you would love to know somebody well enough to be able to say to them, listen, if you can't laugh at your problems, call me and I'll laugh at them for you. You'd have to have a real friend to be able to do that, right? Now, for those of you who have ever asked for advice from somebody, and sometimes when you get it, you're going, really? The advice given here is listen, smile, and agree. Then do whatever you were going to do anyway. Which is what I know people are going to do. People who ask for opinions or what do you think? They want you to agree with what it is they want to do. So I've learned now that I just give them my opinion and I'll just go, hey, that's just my opinion. You go right ahead and do whatever you want to do. If you are my age, or maybe a bit younger, I don't know, but one of life's greatest struggles at my age is Gosh, I need to go to the washroom, but I don't want to get out of bed. I have found that getting out of bed is the better option. And did any of you, as you grew from child, Pat relates to that one. Good. Do any of you remember moving from being a child into being an adult, saying, I've been putting a lot of thought into this. I just don't think being adult is going to work for me. How many of you preferred being a child, where you could play all day and not have to worry about it, and there were no bills to pay, and, you know, sure, you had to go to school, but, you got to come home and, it's just like, yeah, how many of you going, "Yeah, let me be a child again." All right, now this one for those of you who own for those of you who own an iPhone. All right, who here owns an iPhone? The question is this: how come iPhone chargers are not called apple juice? Thought that was cute. And there are some days where some of you will relate to this one. I've made it from my bed to the couch. There's no stopping me now. And again, if you are my age, maybe you relate to this, or maybe a little younger, not to brag or anything, but can I forget what it is I'm doing while I'm doing it? The most frustrating thing for me at the moment is that I open up a new tab on my on my browser to go search for something, and I go to type in the in line where it's where you type in to ask the question, and I'm going, "What am I here to ask?" I have to go back and look at it. I'm going, "I can't believe this is happening to me." It's like a split second ago. I never mind. And I do know I do relate to this one. I always knew that I would get old. How fast it happened is what shocked me. It was just like one minute I was middle-aged and the next minute I was old. And how many of you have got this person inside you? Maybe buried a little deeper than it should be. Pat saying why did I open up this tab? She said it's called being 50 something. Right. Oh, okay. So thank you, Lauren, and good to see you. Um, Lauren saying, believe me, Sal, I do the same thing with browser tabs. Ah, I'm glad it's not just my old timers here. Your idea is completely terrible. So what time shall we do it? I still have that person inside me, I'm afraid. Hi, Sharon. Sharon, thank you so much for popping in. Um, was it you that sent me the Alberta, you can have your weather back again, or Canada, you can have your weather back again? I think it was you that sent it to me, wasn't it? I want to tell you something. I gave a whole new you gave a whole new meaning to laughing out loud. All right, now everybody's wondering what I'm talking about. Where's my phone? phone. It's in my pocket. See if I can just get it up. I want to tell you that that was so cute. Um, so every now and then you get something that truly does make you laugh out loud, and you realize the value of it. And you sent it to me on Facebook, I think. I've got to find it now so other people can enjoy it as well. Oops, wrong thing. That's not Facebook, but that is. Let's see if I can find DearMamaSal. And it was in my inbox, I think. I wonder how I get to my inbox. No, that's not it. Okay, well, anyway, just so that you guys know, it was just this incredible thing where it said, "Dear Canada, could you take your weather back? You know, Alabama's not enjoying it." You know, anyway, like, I went, "Yeah, I can relate to that." And how many of you would agree with this one? If Facebook has taught us anything, it is that a lot of people aren't quite ready for a spelling bee. Oh, yes, it's drunk. That's right. It's drunk, and it's made its way to Alabama. Okay, now hang on a second, because Jody actually found it. So hang on, and she sent it to me on Messenger. So let me go to Messenger. Jody is so good. Oh yeah, hang on a second. I wonder if I put it up whether you guys can see it. Isn't that awesome? I want to tell you, I just went, oh yeah. So thank you so much, Sharon. Mission accomplished. You made me laugh. And if any of you, want to send me something to make me laugh during the week, I'd be most grateful. All right. So one day your temperature was lower than Alaska's. Well, that tells you everything, doesn't it? Move. Most of the time when you're crying, nobody notices your tears. And when you're worried, nobody feels your pain. And when you're happy, nobody sees your smile. But when you happen to release wind accidentally, that's not quite the word that it used, but you understand it was more polite for YouTube. And how about this one? I love ordering things online because when they arrive, it's like a present from me to me. I've been having a lot of Christmas recently. And some of you That's so funny. Nana's busy doing intentional typographical errors saying, you know, nobody seems to be crying about my stuff. Nice one, Nana. All right, so how about this one? In math, we learned more algebra today, that x plus 10 equals y. And then, why should I care? How many of you went through algebra thinking that as well? Find x. Yeah, it's right here. Why are you asking me the obvious? X is right there. Let me circle it for you. If put an arrow to it if you don't know. I used to be very amused by some of those questions. And this next one reminds me of the days before I was pre-diabetic. I always carry a knife in my purse, just in case we're having cake. You know? I think I might have read this one once before, but I still love it. And it's the broccoli says, I look like a small tree. And the mushroom says, I look like an umbrella. And the brain and the walnut says, I look like a brain. And the banana says, can we please change the subject? And how about this one? Always follow your heart, but remember to bring your brain along with you. I failed miserably on that one. I followed my heart a number of times in my life, and I clean forgot my brain. Following my heart was more important. And how many of you have had days where this one is definitely true? Sometimes I'm extremely grateful that thoughts do not appear in a bubble above my head. I'd be in big trouble sometimes. And as an adult is a person who no longer grows in height, but instead grows in length and width. And I have had days where I could definitely say, people say I act like I don't care. It's not an act. And for anybody who's ever owned a German Shepherd, perhaps this will make sense to you. Was I was thinking of getting a German Shepherd once, but I didn't want to learn another language just to have a dog. If I want to tell you, if you own a dog, you always have to learn another language. So why did Adele cross the road? Boom, 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 boom. To say hello from the other side. Yeah, you can add them. Go right ahead, Nana. I hope you like this one. Two silkworms had a race. They ended up in a tie. Okay, I'm waiting to see what. Yeah, I thought it was funny too, Jody. I'm just waiting to see what Nana wants to add. Okay, I'll carry on. How about this one? I'm the kind of crazy you weren't warned about because no one knew this level existed. Oh, you missed the end of the one about the silkworms? They ended up in a tie. They were having a race. And so they ended up in a tie. I think that's funny. And if you do relate to this one, join a long line at which I stand at the head. Got a new phone today. My old phone failed the swimming test. If you've ever had that happen, you will find that funny. Oh, you don't have one. Oh, but yes, go right ahead. If you've got one you want to add, people, go right ahead. Mm. Okay, breathe in. This one, this one I really liked. I forgot about this one. If you have an opinion about my life, please raise your hand and now put it over your mouth. And this I thought was cute. If I won an award for laziness, I'd send somebody to go pick it up for me. Oh, okay, Sharon. I'm glad that you can relate. This one says, our phones fall and we panic. Our friends fall and we laugh. All right, and this one always reminds me of Marnie. And for those of you who've had the pleasure of meeting her, best friends. The definition of a best friend: they know how crazy you are, but still choose to be seen with you in public. This one is, you never realize what you have until it's gone. Toilet paper is a good example. And this, if love is blind, why is lingerie so popular? That is so true, isn't it? And I love this one. This actually is a truism rather than a funny. Retirement is when you stop living at work and start working at living. Isn't that wonderful? She's in for a biopsy on Monday, Nana. Just by way of interest. By the way, if I've forgotten anybody's birthday for this week or next week, please forgive me. The website is still being fixed, and I can't get to the database that gives me everybody's birthday. I do know that, Nana, you've got one coming up on December 2nd, but I'm hoping that I might have my computer back by then, and that I'll be able to get into the database properly, or rather that it's fixed by then. For those of you who remember Matthew, he's very kindly working on it for me. How about this one? I always intended to pay for my sins, but now I can't afford it. Hmm. Yes, for what? I don't know what that is. Oh, November 2 was your birthday? I thought it was December 2. Oh, I apologize. That's what happened, and I'm so sorry. Um, and happy 61. I'm so sorry. The website has been down, and I haven't been able to get to people's birthdays. And for some reason, I thought it was December 2, not November 2. My humble apologies. I'm sure that it felt weird that I didn't wish you a happy birthday. December 2 is Pat's. Well, there you go. Pat, keep reminding me so I don't forget in case the website doesn't come back. Instead of calling the washroom the John, I'm going to start calling my bathroom the gym. That way I can say, well, I'm going to the gym now. Oh, sorry, you want to know why, um, you want to know why Jody is going for a biopsy? Yeah, Nana, you're going in for an eye thing in the new year, is that right? And they say you might go blind. Yeah, that's scary. So what actually has happened? By the way, as this couldn't stay on the broadcast, let me know if you want me to carry on talking about this, please. Yeah, it's very scary. Huh? It's strange because I think, I'm definitely now about 3/4 deaf. And I was thinking about that the other day. I would rather be deaf than blind. Um, right. So, Nana, can you tell us what's causing that? I can't remember, to be honest. I know you probably told me, but I can't remember what is happening inside your eyes that's causing that. Let us know. Okay, so Jody, is it okay for me to repeat that for the replay? Okay, so Jody's letting people know that she's having a biopsy because her mammogram and her ultrasound came back with concerns. And Nana is saying that the reason that she may be going blind is because of cataracts. Well, the good news is that cataract surgery, I believe, nearly always is pretty successful. Is that right? Once you have that surgery, if you don't have the surgery, you would go blind, right? Anyway, our thoughts and prayers go. Jody, could you just make sure? I think I have put up some thoughts and prayers for both of you, but let's do it again. You can't get too many of those, right? Yeah, it's very scary, isn't it? I think for both of them. Yeah. I think, it's really scary for anybody going through a biopsy or hearing that they could go blind. I know my reaction when I realized that, I was going deaf and I probably couldn't. Oh, and I couldn't do anything about it. That's basically it. Um, I just went, okay. Um, It is what it is. This one I thought was rather cute. Everybody wants your happiness. Don't let them take it. Rita Redner said, those oxygen masks that drop down in an aeroplane? She says, I really don't think there's any oxygen in them. I think it's just there to muffle the screams. By the way, do any of you know how long that oxygen will last? I was quite surprised to hear that it doesn't last indefinitely. It only lasts for about 15 minutes. I guess if you haven't, managed to land in 15 minutes or get down to a decent level in 15 minutes, then you're out of luck. All right. How many of you can relate to this one? I'm so old that I remember when a hashtag was called a pound sign and we played tic-tac-toe on top of it. And in terms about being older, it says, I'm multitasking. I can listen, ignore, and forget all at the same time. Yeah, Jody. I'm glad to know I'm not the only one on that one. Or how about this one? I wish I were. It says I wish I was a kid again, but we all know it should be I wish I were a kid again. So everybody would be proud of me for taking a long nap. Oh, hang on a second. Nearly lost my tablet there. Okay, I got to re-anchor it. No, it doesn't want to be re-anchored for some reason. Just hold on. Hold on. Something's going a little astray here. And any minute now, I'm going to have my laptop and my tablet on my lap. That's why it's called a laptop, right? Okay, that's not what I want. So let's go back to where we were. Huh, come on now. Don't mess with me. I need those quotes back again. I was enjoying them. Life is short. Smile while you still have teeth. It's really funny. I was thinking about, all the things that one can do. Yeah, I can do once I um, have sold my house, which I know will happen eventually. I pray it will. One of the things I was really thinking about is I don't care if it's considered vain. I believe one of my greatest assets is my smile. And as my teeth fail me, I realize I don't want to lose my smile. Wait a minute. Let me see if I can understand that. Nana's saying, or going potty. Our youngest is going potty now. That's the youngest grandchild, I think. And on the phone, if I ask, she goes, Want to see, Nana, like I can see on the phone. She thinks she's on Skype. Oh, I got it. Yeah, that is precious. Yeah, that is cute. Yeah, and the funny thing is they don't know what life without Skype is like, right? I'm nearly back to where I found that. Hang on one second. And how about this one? An apple a day keeps everyone away if you throw it hard enough. And then this one, some of you have met this person in your life. 24 hours in a day and 24 beers in a case. That can't be a coincidence. Mhm. Or the person who said, I made my Facebook name benefits. So when you add me, it now says you are friends with benefits. Now think about this one. Yeah, Nana's saying about the potty thing, like I would want to see it. It's her fifth granddaughter. Isn't that wonderful? That's amazing. All right, this one, whenever you're feeling a little bit down, think about this one. Living on Earth may be tough, but it includes a free ride around the moon every year. I like that one. It's like, I'm going to fly around the moon this year. I just have to stay right where I am. Think about that. I thought that was cute. Oh, how about since there is only one of me, does that make me a limited edition? I think so, don't you? And this one, I've met some teenagers that this would fit into. I'm glad I don't have to hunt for my own food. I don't even know where sandwiches live, other than in the fridge. Okay, and this one, I don't mean to brag, but I put together a puzzle in one day, and the box said 2 to 4 years. And some of you will relate to this one. This is like, I know my limits. I don't always obey them, but I know them. Or your car is old when you park outside the museum and they tow it inside. That would be like my car at the moment, right? Or how about nothing messes up your Friday, like realizing it's only Thursday? I've done that. I've actually done it where I've woken up and gone, oh gosh, it's Friday, got ready for the broadcast, did everything else, and then went, wait a minute, it's not even Friday yet. And some of you will understand this one. If you had to choose between eating tacos every day or being skinny for life, would you choose hard or soft tacos? Yeah, Sharon's saying she knows that one about the cars as well. Anyway, I thought they were rather cute. Um, Let me see if I can find you some more. Hang on one second. Hang on. I mustn't see ones I love at. Yesterday, I wore something from 5 years ago, and it actually fitted me. I was so proud of myself. Sure, it was a scarf, but you know. Or how about, I think I might need some professional help. A chef, a butler, and a maid. That should be enough to start with. If you could have a chef, a butler, or a maid, for the next year, which would you choose? If somebody came along and said, I'd like to give you a special gift this year, would you like a chef, a butler, or a maid? And for those of you counting calories and reading labels a lot these days. All right. Sharon definitely says a maid. Yep. Yep. So does Jody. It was so funny. What really surprised me about Big Brother Jeff when he was visiting me? While he was visiting me, I told Clarence, my cleaner. For those of you who don't know, I got a robot cleaner. I told Clarence to get to work one day, and my brother went, "Are you serious?" And I said, "What?" And he said, "It just cleans while you're talking to me." And I went, "Yeah." And he said, "That's it? You just turn it on and it goes off and it works?" I said, "Yeah, it does. You don't have to feed it. You don't have to pay it overtime. You just have to tell it it's time to go and take him to the washroom to empty out his bowels every now and then. But other than that, you just tell him to work, and he does." By the way, Clarence has been working for over a year now. Yeah, so Nana says no one comes to visit now, so that's a butler is out of it. And that Rick cooks, so I don't need a cook. And then so I need a maid. Yeah, I agree, Nana. How many of you who read labels before you buy anything need this little bit of help? um, Nutrition labels should include, and what if I ate the whole thing? I don't want to know what quarter of a cup is. I want to know if I open this bag and finish it, what am I in for here? Sharon asked, has he bought one yet? He actually went back to South Africa, which is where he lives, and tried to buy one and was horrified at the cost. So what I did was have any of you ever heard of Google Internet? Amazon International. If you know anybody who lives overseas, there is something called Amazon International, and their prices are actually much better in some ways. So I actually gave him the link to get into Amazon International and said, there you go, the price is about half what you're quoting me. Go for it. But I want to tell you that I have never regretted buying Clarence. Yeah, I got to say that. Okay, Nana, enjoy talking to the grandkids. I like this one. It's got my name on it. Does refusing to go to the gym count as resistance training? Mm. Or I hate it when my body decides to get sick. I gave you a vegetable last week. And when asked, what is your favorite childhood memory? How many of you would answer not paying bills? And the trouble with living alone is it's always your turn to do the dishes. I think the trouble about living alone is you're always talking to yourself. Now, this is a beautiful play on words, for those of you whose minds work that way. All my bills say outstanding. I guess I'm good to go. Think about that. This is definitely in my league, this one, which is some people can eat anything they want and still stay slim. I put on weight just reading the recipe. This one, some of you relate to. Me. I'm so glad I saved all this money. And then me again. It's time to spend it now. You know I want to. I thought this one was quirky, but also very true. I think it's clear that companies making medicines have no idea what fruits taste like. How many of you have read that where it goes cherry flavored and you take the medicine and you go, if you think that's cherry flavored, think again. It actually should be down as false advertising in my book. Ah. Um, this one is very true. Carrots are a great thing to eat when you're hungry and want to stay that way. Chinese food also falls into that category, right? And when I'm tired of shopping, I sit down and try on shoes. It's not that I want more shoes. It's just that they keep making them in my size. And some of you can relate to this one. Honestly, shopping beats therapy anytime. It costs the same, and you get a dress out of it, or shoes, or a bag, or a purse. Do any of you relate to staying in bed all day is my way of saving money? Um, and have you met this person? Her idea of a romantic setting is one that has a diamond in it. And this one says, I welcome change. as long as nothing has altered or is different from before. I used to say, I'm a great team player as long as I'm leading the team. A lot of people took a while to get that one. you know, are you a team player? Oh yeah, I'm a great team player. Yeah, especially if I'm leading the team. Yep. I did an experiment. You know I love experiments, right? You all know that. So I wanted to know, I had some cacti and I wanted to know, could I propagate them? And I was reading two different ways of doing it. All right. One is I took a plastic container, a condiment container, and I just stuck some holes in it. I put a little bit of water in the bottom and put the top on it. And I wonder if you can see closely enough. Can you see the roots are already growing? Can you see them? See that one there? And I put those in 2 weeks ago. That's amazing. And the other way that they said is just take them and put them on top of, don't put them in earth, but just put them on top like they fell. And I just want you to know, same time, and this did grow a root. See it? All right. But that's had exactly the same time as the others, but that's all that it's done. This one has got tiny ones. Trying to think where I can put it that you can best see the roots. Maybe against my wall. There you go. Can you see the roots on that one? There's the succulent type things. I don't know what they're called. But amazing the difference, right? These are really tiny little roots but it is beginning to grow them. And yet the ones I put, and I got some more here. Look at these. Isn't that amazing? So way cool, Jody. I'm glad you find that cool as well, because I did. Very cool. You know me. I love the experiment stuff. And this one, oh, we got some good ones on this one. Look at this one. Oh, how can I best show you? Let me find the ways. Okay, there's. It's not the right angle. Look at that. Let me put it against the dark wall, maybe. Hang on. Yeah. So all I did, Jody, was I stuck some holes with a knife into it and then just broke off a couple of leaves and stuck them in to see if it worked. Because it said on the internet, it said it would. And I'm going, yeah, right. So one day when I wanted to amuse myself, that's what I did. And so far, they're all growing roots. Who knew? All right, how do you like this one? I thought I wanted a career, but it turns out what I wanted was the paychecks. In filling out an application where it says, in case of emergency, notify. Yeah, go right ahead, Lauren. And then this person's put doctor. All right, let's see the news that Lauren's going to share with everybody. Well, I know one piece. I'm not sure if I know both. Maybe I do. Dave Barry wrote, the word aerobics comes from two Greek words, aero, meaning ability to, and bix, meaning withstanding tremendous boredom. Hmm. All right, how about this one? If it's free, it's called advice. If you pay for it, it's called counseling. If you can use either one, it's a miracle. Actually, I do want to just take a second. We did a broadcast at lunchtime today, and it was about how to get a different look at anger. And I'm hoping that some of you who might have missed it will go back and watch it or listen to it or at least give it some thought. There were a couple of things that came up in there that really were big aha moments for people. But it was about how to control your anger and what to do when you want to get angry, how to readjust your mind around it. And it really, if you know anybody who's going through a tough time at the moment and maybe blaming the world, rather than looking at something else inside themselves, just, you might want to share that with them. And I encourage you to do that. Yeah, Jody's saying it was a great, great broadcast. But Jody, they know you're a tad biased. But I'm glad that you did find that. All right, so Lauren's news says her niece, who was near death because of undiagnosed type 1 diabetes a few months ago, has just got a job as a farmhand. Isn't that wonderful, right? And next week, Lauren is going to be a body shop consultant. You found the job. Isn't it wonderful? What you wanted was a job online. Am I right? That's what you said about a month ago. You said, what I'd like is a job online. Yeah. Jody is acknowledging that maybe she is a tad biased at times, right? And I'm very happy that you are. You're my greatest cheerleader. Lauren says, yes, a job online was what I wanted so I could keep my anxiety down. Yes, feeling of benefit, of worth is an amazing way to relax your anxiety, to feel wanted, right? Needed. I think that's a very good point, Lauren. But, I find it interesting because when I asked you, what is it that you want to do? I remember you saying, I want a job online. Um, and you got it. Well done. I'm hoping that some of you can see the humor in this one. Stephen Wright, of course. When I was about 16, I worked in a pet store, and they fired me because, well, you see, they had 3 snakes, and I decided to braid them. And have you ever wanted to be able to say, and I'm sure you didn't say it, but have you ever wanted to be able to say, no, no, I am really listening. It just takes me some time to process this much stupidity. I've had those moments. Okay, Jody is saying, yes, she maybe is a tad biased at times, but then she went on to say, but there were several aha moments for me during that broadcast. And I think they're valuable takeaway information for anyone who cares to listen. Yeah, I appreciate that. I must admit that it really, whenever I write one of these, Jody, I sort of get a sense of where I want to go with them, and then I'm always surprised how the universe takes me and feeds me and leads me in a different way. And I could really feel that today as we were talking about the anger and the case studies that I put up and so forth, where I did it right and where I didn't. And it was just like this week was a great experience for me, because what I definitely found out was all the work that we've been doing on emotional intelligence is paying off for me. I hope it is for you as well. And somebody asked, this whole working for a living thing, how long does that last? And this one was be really true for me this week. For those of you who don't know, I was 30 hours away from closing the deal on my house, and the deal collapsed 30 hours out. Can you believe it? The one thing I was told is don't worry about the financing. All the money's good. You know, she's got real money in the bank, a lot of it. The only problem was she couldn't get to it. The bank wouldn't, give her the mortgage against what she had sitting in. She had it sitting in probate, I think. And so, bless her heart, she couldn't buy the house, and I couldn't sell it. It was just like, really. And so the broadcast that I did was, who am I going to get angry at? And I didn't want to get angry at anybody. I just felt sad in some ways, and mostly for her, because I know she loved the house, really loved it at a very deep level. And so I saw this quote and I thought it was really described me. So ends another week without me getting rich unexpectedly. Now, but do you want to hear the surprising news? Some of you have known that I've had a difficult relationship with my sister. And I was sort of keeping my brother in South Africa, big brother Jeff, you've met, and my sister informed on what was happening with the house sale. And when I advised them what had happened to me this week, my sister wrote to me and said how sorry she was. And I said, how much I appreciated that, because I believed her, and how much I appreciated it. And then she wrote back to me today and blew my mind, because she said, I know that you weren't expecting to have to hold on for this long, and you must be, in financially challenged now. So let me know if you need a loan. I was, and she said, and you can pay me back when the house sells, whenever that is. I was pretty stunned, I don't mind telling you, and very grateful for that, because and I wrote back and said, at the moment, it's not necessary, but it's great to know that is a backup plan. Um, and as you know, it came out of nowhere. I certainly didn't expect that. Jody, the next one is a little bit of a retake on the intermittent fasting thing. It says, start each day with a positive thought, like, can I go back to bed for just another short 17 hours? I think that's the best way for me to go back to fasting, is just to sleep longer. That way I can be guaranteed, forget about sleeping 6 hours. If I could sleep 16, I'd actually get this intermittent fasting back under control. Now, some of you can relate to this one. Me talking to my brain, please let me sleep. And the brain says, nope. We have to stay up together and go through every bad life decision you have made so far. How many of you have been there? Okay, now forgive me for this next one, but it did amuse me because I love puns and things. So this one, what is the difference between bird flu and swine flu? And the answer is, one requires treatment while the other requires ointment. Ah, Jody is saying, when you speak kindness into the universe, it can mirror that back to you when you least expect it. Yeah, I certainly was pretty surprised, Jody. All right. Now, this one, for those of you who love English grammar, just get your heads around this one. You cannot run through a campground. You can only ran through it because it's past tense. It is past the tense. I think that's quite funny. Okay, deep breath. It's one of those. Hold on, everybody. Are you ready? If you ever get an email and it's about pork, ham, salt, and preservatives, don't open it. It's spam. Or the person who wrote, "Whoever stole my copy of Microsoft Office, I will find you. You have my word." And I know a number of people who, quite honestly, this fits really well. Hold on a moment. Let me overthink this. Do you know anybody that needs to go to? This is such a truism. How many of you relate to this one? The worst part about online shopping is having to get up and go find your card. I so relate to that. You're busy. Okay, fine. I'll have this and I'll have this. And then I go, and your card number is, and you go, oh gosh, hang on a second. All right. And wouldn't you love to be yeah, Lauren relates to that one. Okay, wouldn't you love to be able to say the following? Gosh, I'm so sorry I'm late, but I did get here as soon as I wanted to. And here's another pun one. I burned my Hawaiian pizza today. I should have cooked it on a lower heat. Aloha, Hawaiian. Yeah, never mind. All right, everybody, listen to this one. Starting tomorrow. Whatever life throws at me, I'm ducking so it can hit somebody else. I keep thinking about Lauren. Lauren, you've had so much drama in your life this year. I'd be quite glad when 2020 comes here, and that hopefully that you will have some serenity. How do you feel when your coffee machine is out of coffee? Depresso. Or how about the person who said, I might get a job cleaning mirrors. It's definitely a job I can see myself doing. It's so funny. It says that annoying moment when you're texting somebody and autocorrect decides to join in the conversation. I had it happen to me this week where somebody's screen name was Foot, Phoot. And I typed it in, and when it got up on the screen, I saw that autocorrect had changed it to photo, which had the same combination, Phoot, except it corrected it to Photo. And I'm going, I typed it right. I know that. I can always remember back. Let me read this one first, and then I'll tell you what it brings up for me. The quote is, "I hate it when people ask me to watch their stuff. It's like, what happens if somebody comes along and actually tries to steal it? Do I have to fight them off? I'm not ready for that." Um, one of the funniest skits I ever saw on television was way back when, really way back when, and it was about I think it was John Cleese. If you know John Cleese, you'll know why. You can just start laughing anyway. It's a bit like Oz, right? When you hear the name, you start to laugh. But John Cleese, when the skit started, he was leaning against a wall, or so you thought, and it was close to a bus stop. And the first person comes along to stand at the bus stop, and John Cleese says, "Wonder if you could do me a big favor." And the guy said, "Sure. What do you need?" And he said, "I wonder if you can just hold the wall for me a minute, because I need to go and measure um, the building to see, how much support we need to give it." And the funny thing is, people are incredibly helpful. Have you noticed that? And so the person said, "Fine, yeah, okay." No, they think they're holding up a wall that could drop on them. But they still offer to do it. That's the amazing thing. And of course, being Cleese, he goes round the corner of the building, but he has no intention of coming back. And so this poor person watches a couple of buses go by and then gets smart. This was the interesting thing, how long it took him before he got smart. And what he did was, after two buses went by, he said to the next person that came to the bus stop, "Wonder if you could do me a big favor." And human nature being human nature, the person said, "Sure, what do you need?" And he said, "I wonder if you could just hold this wall for me a second. I need to go find the guy that's measuring the building because I need to tell him something." And guess what? The second person started to hold up that wall that supposedly was unstable. And the whole skit went on for a long time. It was amazing how many people were prepared to hold up that wall. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? All right, so how about this one? Childhood injuries. I fell off my bike. I fell out of a tree. I twisted my ankle. Adult injuries. I slept wrong, sat down too long, and sneezed too hard. Yeah, Jody's saying, I wonder if that skit is on YouTube. I bet you it is somewhere. I guess I would just type in "man holding up wall" um, skit. And this one I dedicate to Kerry and anybody else that's been having sleep problems this week. I finally got 8 hours of sleep. It took me 4 days, but whatever. And this one, also relates to that one. I want to sleep, but my brain keeps talking to itself. Or is it, in fact, this? Some people can't sleep because they have insomnia. I can't sleep because I have the internet. I like this one. This is a professional tip. In the event of a tornado warning, all right, or any other natural disaster, tsunami, whatever, it says, in the event of a tornado or other such natural disaster, place wieners and cheese slices in your pockets so that the search dogs will find you first. That's cute. And how many of you relate to this one? The words "made with love" mean that I licked the spoon and kept on using it. And how many of you can understand this one? I get most of my exercise these days from shaking my head in disbelief. Like, really? On the surface, I am as cool as a cucumber. On the inside, like a squirrel in traffic. That's inside my head at the moment. And some of you can see the humor in this one. Well, at least I don't have to wake up anymore, is what I want written on my tombstone. And some of you know how I feel about my I'm a slob watch. It says here, I don't need a fancy watch to tell me I'm not fit one bit. Or how about the person who said, I wish I could invoice people for wasting my time? I've been having a lot of problem recently with people trying to phone me and sell me things, and I can't even understand what they're talking about. How on earth do they think they're going to sell me anything? Which actually leads me to the next quote, which is, I don't understand, but I also don't care. So it works out. And this one definitely is on my books at the moment. Every time we try to eat healthily, along comes Christmas, Easter, summer, Friday or Tuesday, and ruins it for us. All right, there is some truth in this one. How about this? Modern intelligence. Okay. If all the bathrooms in the house are taken, just turn off the internet. You'll be amazed how quickly they will empty out. Or how about don't blame the holidays? You were already overweight in August. Yeah. Or the quote that says, don't forget those who helped you along the way, like Google, Wikipedia, and the dictionary. And the recommendation. Yeah, Jody's still laughing about I don't understand and I also don't care. So it works out. Learn from the mistakes of others. You can never live long enough to make them all yourself. I used to think I was indecisive, but I'm not too sure anymore. Now, how about this one? That awkward moment when your mom is doing the dishes and you carefully put another plate in the sink. Oh, this one is so true. So true. I'm so glad I learned about parallelograms. Oh, it's so difficult to say. Instead of how to do taxes. It's really handy this parallelogram season. That is so true. Yeah, don't teach me something that's going to be of use to me. Or this one would be my story, right? This is like, I'm retired. I was tired yesterday, and I'm tired again today. Diet day number 1. All the unhealthy food has been removed from the house. It was delicious. Or I really want somebody who looks at me the way I look at chocolate cake. And the person who said, I'm a multitasking procrastinator. I can put off multiple things all at once. This definitely describes me. Okay, hang on. Take a breath, Sal. My mind is like a web browser. 19 tabs are open, 3 are frozen, and I have no idea where the music is coming from. My mind is like a web. 19 tabs are open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I've only got 16 today. 3 are frozen, and I have no idea where the music is from. How many of you have had that moment where, you're busy doing something and suddenly somebody's talking at you and you're going, where's that coming from? And you're going, I've been there so many times. Now, there's some reality here, people, so just stop laughing now and just think about this. My brain cells, my skin cells, and my hair cells continue to die. But my fat cells seem to have eternal life. It's me. Oh, how many of you have felt this one? Dear phone, if you didn't light up so many times to tell me you had a low battery, you wouldn't have died so quickly. My neighbors were yelling so loudly at their kids, telling them to clean their room, that even I felt fear. I started cleaning mine. Okay, now for you mathematicians. All right, here you go. Think of a number between 1 and 10. Got it? Multiply it by 9. Give you a moment for that. And now subtract 1. Okay? Now close your eyes. It's dark, isn't it? Okay, how many of you actually did that with me? It's dark. Oh, I'm so sorry I can't come today. My sister's friend's mother's grandpa's brother's grandson's uncle's fish died. It was so tragic. And think about this one. Oh, Sharon said she tried to do it with me, and she's terrible at math. Well done, Sharon. I love the participation. Excuse Did you laugh when I got to the end? Because, if so, mission accomplished. How many of you can see this visual? I keep pressing the space bar, but I'm still on Earth. Or how about I turned my phone onto airplane mode and I threw it in the air. Worst transformer ever. And for those of you who know me well, I could be a morning person. If morning was sometime around noon. That's me. Sharon says, I was a little mad. I worked hard to get to the right number. Oh, Sharon, I love you dearly for that. I'm sending down some more cold air. Now, how about this one? Now, just sit down and let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, I was hungry. And that's what happened to all your chocolate. Oh, that reminds me, I've still got Halloween candy in the freezer or in the fridge downstairs. And the next person who says to you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? The answer is, buddy, I'm just trying to make it through to Friday. I like this one. That Jody, this has your name on it. Never let anyone treat you like regular glue. You are glitter glue. Isn't that beautiful? For all you creatives, including Lauren and Jody and everybody else, right? You are glitter glue. Are you ready for this one? Lead me not into temptation. Oh, who am I kidding? Follow me, I know the shortcut. How about this? Cats. Cats have 32 muscles in each ear. That's to help them ignore you. I have lots of hidden talents. My problem is I can't find them. This one, I don't know if Pat's still with us, but this one definitely has Pat's name on it. That awkward moment when someone gets angry at you for clicking a pen, but you just have to click it one more time to use it. The great memory about Pat. But for those of you who don't understand that joke, it's just that, I used to do that. I used to click the pen while I was broadcasting. It used to drive Pat insane, but she was honest enough to let me know. Oh, Lauren says she has a different take on that one. She says, lead me not into temptation. I can get there all by myself. So Jody is very kindly reminding me to do the countdown, and let me do that before I forget. That requires a little bit of dexterity on my side. Hang on one second. Let's hope I can get back to where I was. All right. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. Easter is 4 months and 28 days away. Yeah, Jody is reminding me that when Pat came onto the broadcast, Jody used to remind me by a side note, going, "Pat just came into the room, put the pen down." And now I don't do it anymore because Jody gave me a fidget thing that I could use, and I've noticed now, Jody, that since I had that and used it for about a week, I don't. For some reason, I'm not doing the same behavior. Interesting, right? For those of you like me who do not enjoy winter, spring is 124 days away, or for Lauren, who lives south of the equator, that would be fall, is only 124 days away. Enjoy your summer, Lauren. For those of you who remember that we just fell back and put the clocks back, you have 113 days until it's what I call snowdrop time, when we put the clocks forward again. Valentine's Day is exactly 3 months away. Christmas is a mere 39 days. Has anybody finished their Christmas shopping? I was going to really have fun with Christmas shopping once I sold the house. I guess anybody's going to be happy with cookies this year. And Lauren is in the Southern Hemisphere. And she's saying, "Oh, thanks, Sal. We're still having cold weather here." And it's and she's about to go into summer and it's still cold. Thanksgiving in the US is just 12 days away. For those of you who've noticed life has been a bit weird in the last week or so, know that Mercury is in retrograde and all things will settle down on the 20th, which is only 5 days away. Yay! That was the one thing that worried me about the house sale, is it came in while Mercury was in retrograde. Yeah, guess what? And please remember that if you are thinking of sending cards overseas for Christmas, send them by the end of the month, or else. I wanted to ask that question. How many of you realize that getting a Christmas card the day before Christmas is a very different feeling than getting a Christmas card 2 days after Christmas? How many of you have noticed that psychologically, when it is late, it has a whole different feel to it? And that's why I'm encouraging you, get those cards out. If you're a card sending person, do it. Yeah, it's a very different feeling, isn't it? So and I relate to this one. It says, sometimes you meet such a prince that you'd rather marry the horse. Nay. Or how about the person who said, I really can't sleep well. I know there's food getting cold in the fridge. And how about, please don't judge me. I was born to be awesome, not perfect. Or how many of you wish you could have said, I was told to check my attitude. I did, and it's still there. It hasn't gone anywhere, so what's your problem? Research has shown that laughing for 2 minutes is just as healthy as a 20-minute jog. So now I'm sitting in the park laughing at the joggers. All right, get your thinking caps on. You got to think about this one. Have you ever tried to eat a clock? Tick tock. No? It's very time consuming. Or the person who said, I always give 100% at work. 12% on Monday, 23% on Tuesdays, about 40% on Wednesdays, 20% on Thursdays, and 5% on Friday. A welcome back weekend. Or we are all mature until somebody brings out the bubble wrap. Why are we just destined to pop that stuff? And would you believe that my neighbor was knocking at my door at 2:30 a.m. this morning? Luckily, I was still up playing my bagpipes. Or the person who said, don't invite me anywhere in the last moment. I enjoy doing nothing. So I need to know ahead of time if my plan to do nothing needs to be changed. Jody, Jody, this one's for us. You ready? May not have lost all my marbles yet, but there's a small hole in the bag somewhere. All right, so Sharon saying, I told my dad that if he fell again, you were going to wrap him in bubble wrap. But I wouldn't worry about mum popping the bubbles. Isn't that cute? I know you said that with a load of love, Sharon. That is cute. How many of you can visualize this one and agree with it? I wish the homes of all my friends were connected to mine by secret underground tunnels. How many of you can visualize that? And you know, you don't have to tell me, but who would you wish to be secretly connected with by an underground tunnel that you could just pop in there and zoom and go and give them a hug? I was reading some stuff on the internet yesterday, and it was, you know, it was wonderful. It was, you know, very famous people who were being told they were wrong. Um, you know, for example, J.K. Rowling, um, she was she looked at something on the internet and somebody was commenting on one of her books. So, being who she was, they actually had the reason why one of the characters did something completely wrong. So, J.K. Rowling wrote, "No, actually, the reason he did that was because." The person wrote back and said, "What makes you the expert?" She said, "I wrote the book." And then there was, I think it was Wayne Dyer or somebody who actually decided to take a course that was being that was being given on one of his books. I think it was Your Erroneous Zones or something. He actually decided out of interest to take the course to see how they delivered it. And then the professor was up there giving this stuff. And, at one point the professor said, "And why do you think Dr. Dyer believes da 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 da?" And Wayne Dyer goes, "Because da 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 da." And the professor said, "No, actually, you're wrong on that one. The reason he said that was because," and before he could finish the sentence, Wayne Dyer said, "Believe me, I know. I am Wayne Dyer." You know? Wouldn't you have loved to have been in the room? Or the person who was on Reddit and somebody made a comment, and somebody being, otherwise said, "What are you, some sort of some sort of rocket scientist?" And the person wrote back and said, "I'm glad you asked me that. Actually, yes. Not only am I a rocket scientist, but I work for NASA and I do this, 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 and this. And believe me, what you said was total garbage." I know. And how many of you need this written on your forehead? Me, sarcastic? Never. Anyway, I read a whole series. I read a whole series of them where all these famous people, you know, um, were were being maligned on the internet, and they're all in there going, "Actually, no, you're not right on that one." They're going, "What makes you so sure?" Well, I actually am that person. That's why I know. And it was just like, yes, I wish I'd been a fly on the wall that day. Don't you believe that friends are like rainbows? They're always there to cheer you up after a storm. I think that's beautiful. Friends are like rainbows. I can always remember from my youth, 60 years ago, I can remember going back, and I had an autograph book. And the very first autograph that was written in that book was, "Friends are like diamonds, precious and rare. False friends, like autumn leaves, are found everywhere." I guess it had a big impact on me, not only because it was the first thing that was written in my autograph book, but isn't that so true? Friends are like diamonds, they're precious and rare. But false friends, like autumn leaves, are found everywhere. So I'm hoping that this evening you had a bit of a laugh. I don't know which your favorite one was, but I'm just hoping that some of them made you chuckle a little bit. And Sharon, I hope you will forgive me for the math one. Uh, I really do appreciate the fact that you've desperately tried to do it right, and I love you for it. And I'm sorry that I messed it for you. But it was funny. And so I leave you. I leave you with this one. You know what's funny? Lots of things. So lighten up. This is Dear Mama Sal saying thank you so much for being here and to sharing with each other. Thank you for laughing with me. It's been a week where I needed a laugh and I got one. Thank you for letting me share it. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you all on Sunday at 3:30. There is a showing on Sunday, and so that'll be interesting. So forgive me if I'm a little bit discombobulated when I do the broadcast on Sunday. What's new? You say, what's new? This is Dear Mama Sal saying thanks for being here, and bye bye for now.